Good morning and welcome to Thursday, the 5th of August 2021. And this is our learning schedule for today. So now that we've got a bit of a routine, our videos won't take as long and you should be getting through your work a lot clearer. Thanks for sending all that work in. I'm going to mark that. I've marked most of it, but I still have some to mark. So if you haven't heard from me, you will by the time you start work this morning. So today, our first lesson, as usual, is a spelling activity, and all you need to do is get your spelling words and write them in alphabetical order. So you can, I'll go on to that in a minute. For comprehension, a Waltz with Matilda, we're just going through slides 19 and 20 and looking at another letter and some more grammar to do with that. Our third lesson is maths, and you just work through another 2 lots of minute maths and you should be up to sets 8 and 9, and also the timed maths books, which is set 6 and 7. And we'll then move on to adding fractions today. We did subtracting yesterday, and that's slides 24, 25 and 26. And then the rest of the day is just for catch up really in your science. Make sure you've done all those activities, catch up with your mental maths, catch up with your English, and if you have any time left over, of course, you can go on to mathematics. Right, so, sorry, I'm a bit cracky this morning from a lot of talking. So let's start off our spelling like we normally do, just by looking at the phonemes. It just gets our heads around the spelling for the day. It's a good way to start. Okay, so 44 phonemes, 24 consonants, 20 vowels, and let's just very quickly go through those. B, k, ch, d, f, g, h, j, l, m, n, p, r, s, ž, sh, t, th, f, v, w, y, z. Now, of course, as you're going through those, you're looking at the common ways that the spelling is used to make these sounds. But as we know, there are lots of other ways that we can spell that sound, depending on the word. The 20 vowels are a, e, a, e, I, I, o, oi, u, o, and a. Okay, so all you need to do with your spelling words for today, and I'll bring them up in case you want to pause them and just do it from the screen. Is just go through, and you can do this in red and blue still. That's a really great thing to do every time you do your spelling, because it makes you think about segmenting the sounds. Is go through and write them in alphabetical order, which they pretty well are close to anyway, but just do that again. Down the bottom it gets a bit switched up there, and remember, if the first letter is the same, you move on to the second letter, and if the second letter is the same in 2 words or 3 words, you move on to the third letter, and you keep going until you get to the next letter that comes first. Okay, that means we can go straight to our comprehension and grammar. So head your page up. Oh, I don't even think I've showed you the date for today. So Tuesday the 5th of August 2021. So head that up for your spelling and do your spelling underneath. And then this is for your comprehension. So today we're looking at slides 19 and 20. And we read yesterday that Matilda, with all the hardship she had in the city there, her mum died, and she ended up taking the money for the rent, getting out of town and going to her father's. Now she's writing a letter to Tommy. She's been there for a while. She's told her dad she's going to stay there. So as you can see, I've numbered those lines as a rough indication. Some of it goes over here, but we can see which line goes with which number. Okay, so dear Tommy, I hope you are well and out of hospital with your arm getting better. And remember, Tommy broke his arm in an accident at the jam factory, which was very common back in those days. I'm hoping that Mr. Do will find this letter nailed on the door to the house and send it to you. Tommy, I found my father and I like him. I am going to learn all about being a farmer and raising sheep. I like this better than the city. There is space, and thousands of green budgerigars. Tommy, Dad says that you can come and stay with us. He will have machines to build, and you are good at inventing things. Please take care. I miss you. Your friend, Matilda. Okay, so we're going to do these activities over here. Now, this is where we start incorporating the line numbers on the text or on the letter. So we've numbered the lines in the letter. Why does Matilda use a semicolon in line 8? So if we go up to line 8, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I like this better than the city, and there's a semicolon there. And the semicolon is very similar to a comma. It's a pause, but it's also telling us that something important is following that. So I like this better than the city. There is space and thousands of green budgerigars. So the answer for 1, I want you to write in why that semicolon is important there. And it's to do with the information that follows the semicolon. Question 2, 3, why is the phrase following the semicolon important? So why is this phrase that follows the semicolon important? And what adjective or adjectives does Matilda use to express her thoughts about the country? So write your answers in, what you think. Now, the reason why this semicolon, I like this better than the city, that's a real statement, first of all. She's making it really clear that she's made the right decision. After all that hardship, she's made the right decision. And then she says there is space and thousands of green budgerigars. So the adjectives after that, of course, is space and thousands and green. So she's gone from very factual, terrible things have happened, I'm doing this and I'm going to find Dad. And now all of a sudden in her letter, we're finally getting some expressive language. Space, thousands and green. And what they're the adjectives that she uses to express her thoughts about the country. So she's pretty happy there. She thinks it's beautiful by the sounds of it. 4, what phrases are used to show how Matilda feels about her life now? So I want you to go through the letter for 4, and of course phrases are parts of a sentence, and find any phrases that tell us how she feels about her life now. You can do that. Pause if you need to. I'm not going to go on too much about that because I think that's something that you can think over and do. You just need to read the letter really carefully. So this is the part where you're building your comprehension skills. And 5, rewrite the sentence in 11 and 12. So here's 11 and 12. Rewrite this sentence so that you are using an adverb, an adjective, and an expressive verb. So the sentence is, he will have machines to build, and you are good at inventing things. So first of all, I would be thinking about where you put the adverb. Remember, an adverb is like quickly or slowly. An adjective, which describes a noun. So pick your noun. Are you going to put the adjective in front of machines? Or are you going to talk about Tommy and put it in front of Tommy? And an expressive verb, or about Dad, that should be that sentence, sorry, and an expressive verb. So I want you to rewrite that sentence with those 3 things. So an expressive verb there that you could put in front of there is build. Talk more about build. He will have machines to build, and you are good at inventing things. So there's the sentence there that you're rewriting. So pause while you do that, but rewrite that sentence with an adverb, an adjective, and an expressive verb. Okay, then we're going to move on to the next slide. This is the last slide for this today, for comprehension. Adverbial phrases can be used to tell the reader when something happens, the time, where something happens, the place, and the order that things are happening, number. Sort the following adverbs and adverbials into the table below based on their function. The first few have been done for you. Okay, so in your book, just draw up a really quick chart. It doesn't have to be too big. So this is adverbial phrases. And we're going to sort it into time that something happens, the place where it happens, where it is happening, and the number. So an adverbial phrase gives us information, extra information in the sentence that we can use. So we pull that down and put our sentence in the right category. Excuse me. Okay, so moments later, a shooting star appeared in the sky. So the first part, moments later, that's part of the phrase. Is that talking about time, place, or number? That's time, so let's write it in there. Moments later, a shooting star appeared. When something happens, a place. Not yet. Where something happens, a place. A shooting star appeared. Order that things are happening. In the sky. So the place is in the sky. So there's the two adverbial phrases. Number 2, Anna completed her difficult homework at the kitchen table. Anna completed. Is that where something happened? Not yet. When something happens, time. Anna completed her difficult homework. Let's go at the kitchen table. That's a place, isn't it? At the kitchen table. So that's the adverbial phrase in that sentence. Sometimes they can have two, sometimes they have one. With a smile on his face, Arturo held up the trophy. So is that time, place, or number where something happened? With a smile on his face, Arturo held up the trophy. Is that time, place, or number? I reckon it's with a smile on his face because that's saying where that's happening. So I would probably go place with that one. With a smile on his face. And write it in that column. So that's all I want you to do. Just go through those sentences and for each bit think, is that telling me something about time when something happens? Is that telling me where something happens? Or is this telling me the order that things are happening, the number of things are happening? So just finish that one for me. And with this comprehension part of this, the grammar, you've got to get really used to pulling apart the sentence and asking yourself questions and finding that grammar in the sentence. Rewrite these sentences in lines from the letter to include an adverbial phrase. Okay, so we're going to rewrite these sentences so that we have in there something with time, place, and number. I hope you are getting well and out of hospital with your arm getting better. Okay, so that's the first one. I hope you are well and out of hospital with your arm getting better. Now, I'll help you a little bit with the first one. So I'm going to go time and let's go. I hope you are well and out of hospital by spring and out of hospital by spring with your arm getting better. You could have put a place in there as well, order that things are happening. But I want you to have a think about that and rewrite that sentence. The next one is, I am hoping that Mr. Do will find this letter nailed on the door to the house and send it to you. And he will have machines to build, and you are good at inventing things. So once you've put these sentences, the phrases, into the correct category of time, place, number, and then added an adverbial phrase to these sentences. And that's it for spelling and comprehension today. A little bit more tricky in that you have to think about it a bit more, but the work's getting less because you're getting used to the routine. So I will see you in maths.